Have you ever wondered if there was a secret signal, a quiet, undeniable gesture that men make when they've truly found the one? We're so often caught up in the grand gestures, the flowers, the dinners, the declarations of love, that we miss the subtle, more powerful clues that speak a deeper truth. We're taught to look for a love that's loud, but what if the most profound signs are found in the silent spaces? What if the difference between a fling and a forever isn't in what a man says, but in a single, consistent action he takes without even thinking about it? This isn't about a checklist or a mind game. It's about a man's unconscious heart speaking a language that our busy minds often miss. What if the love you've been waiting for isn't a performance, but a profound, quiet choice? This is where we dive in. At Love Threads, we don't just talk about relationships, we deconstruct them. We blend authentic, grounded insights with robust, evidence-based psychology, giving you the real intelligence on why we connect, why we sometimes misstep, and how to truly thrive when love feels like a constantly shifting landscape. Tonight, we're unraveling the subtle signal of a profound commitment and the profound, often unconscious journey to break free from the threads that hold us just shy of true reciprocal connection. The dilemma. We live in a world that promises instant gratification and endless options, a dating landscape that feels more like a scrolling feed than a real-life connection. In this world of casual encounters and low-effort relationships, we can easily confuse attention for affection and a fleeting spark for a lasting flame. We're bombarded with signals, but few of them are truly meaningful. The dilemma is this: how do you filter through the noise to find the one signal that matters? How do you know if a man sees you as a temporary pleasure or a permanent presence in his life? We are often taught to look for the fire of passion, but the truth is the most profound sign of lasting love is found in the steady, quiet warmth of consistent care. This is the difference between being a star in his sky and being the ground beneath his feet. The first is beautiful, but the second is what you can build a home on. It's the difference between being a temporary destination and being a shared journey. Anecdotal threads. The most profound truths about love are found in the stories we live. Let's explore 3 archetypal stories that illustrate the power of this subtle signal. These aren't character flaws, but more like roles we learn to play to get by, which are part of our sacred contracts. The story of the placeholder. The placeholder's story is one of a person who is a temporary fixture in a man's life. The placeholder is often a vibrant, wonderful, and kind person, but for some reason, the men she attracts are never fully committed. They give her attention, they take her on dates, but they never truly make space for her in their lives. The men she dates have a subtle habit of keeping their lives compartmentalized. Their schedules are always packed, their friends are never introduced, and their future plans never seem to include her. The man is not intentionally being malicious. He is simply living his life in a way that doesn't require him to make room for a long-term presence. His subtle signal is a lack of integration. He sees her as an amazing but separate part of his world. The story of the project. The project is a person who is constantly trying to earn a man's love by being the perfect partner. The project is a master of their social media, their career, and their external life. This pattern often stems from a deep-seated fear of vulnerability. She believes that her true, messy, imperfect self is not worthy of love, so she presents a polished, untouchable version of herself to the world. She curates her life like a museum exhibit, flawless and pristine. Her subtle signal is a wall of polished perfection that keeps people at a distance. Men are intrigued by her, drawn to the challenge of breaking through the surface. They see a woman who has it all together, but this dynamic can prevent a deep, meaningful connection. The project's journey to wholeness is to realize that true love is not attracted to perfection, but to authenticity. It's about learning to lower the shield and let someone see the raw, beautiful, and imperfect person underneath. The story of the one. The one story is one of a person who has cultivated a deep sense of self-possession. The one is not perfect, she has her flaws and her messy parts. But she has made a profound choice to love herself and to live a life that is full and joyful regardless of her relationship status. The men she attracts are drawn to her not because she is a perfect partner, but because she's a whole person. They see a woman who has an inner world that is rich and vibrant, and they want to be a part of it. The men who see her as the one have a subtle habit of integrating her into their lives. They introduce her to their friends and family, they talk about her in their future plans, and they make time for her in their busy schedules. The man is not performing. He is making a quiet, consistent choice to make room for her in his world. His subtle signal is a profound and beautiful act of integration. The psychological depth and education. The subtle signals men notice aren't magic. They're a profound, unconscious reading of your inner world. Let's look at the simple but powerful psychology behind it. Attachment styles. The blueprint of love. Our early relationships with our caregivers create an internal blueprint for how we view love. This is the basis of attachment theory, a foundational concept in psychology. The project, for example, often has an anxious attachment style. Their nervous system was wired to be on high alert for signs of abandonment. This pattern, born from inconsistent care, translates directly into a need for constant approval in adult relationships. The project subconsciously broadcasts this need, and men who are emotionally unavailable are often drawn to it because it confirms their own patterns. The placeholder, on the other hand, often has an avoidant attachment style, having learned early on that it was safer to be self-sufficient and emotionally distant than to be vulnerable. His subtle signal is a reflection of this deep belief that relying on others is dangerous. Family systems and systemic entanglements. Beyond our individual experiences, we also carry the invisible baggage of our family systems. This is a core idea of family constellations, which suggests we are unconsciously loyal to the unresolved pain of our ancestors. The placeholder might be carrying the unspoken burden of a grandparent who was a constant peacemaker in a turbulent family, and her soul is unconsciously committed to repeating that pattern. We are all loyal to our family's template of love, and without conscious awareness, we will choose partners who keep us tethered to the familiar, even if it's painful. The subtle signal here isn't just about our personal history, but a reflection of the collective, unhealed history of our family line. It's an energetic signal that says, I am still carrying this pain. Neuroscience of love and connection. On a biological level, love is a complex dance of hormones and brain chemistry. Attraction is not just a conscious choice, but a primal drive. When we meet someone who reminds us, on an unconscious level, of our early dynamics, our brains release a cocktail of neurochemicals like dopamine that create a feeling of excitement. For a person who is a project, a partner who is a little distant can feel exciting because it mirrors the anxious striving they learn to associate with love. It feels like a challenge, not a threat. Our brains aren't always seeking healthy love. They're often seeking familiar love, even if that love is painful. The subtle signal, therefore, is a communication that bypasses our conscious mind and speaks directly to the part of the brain that remembers our oldest emotional patterns. It's a message that says, this feels like home. Developmental stages. Looking at our own growth, we can see how our childhood experiences shape our adult relationships. A lack of self-worth or a poor sense of identity from childhood can make it difficult to form healthy bonds in adulthood. The project, for example, may have never fully developed a strong, authentic sense of self in adolescence. As a result, she fears losing herself in a relationship. The subtle signal she emits is a reflection of this developmental gap. We cannot offer a whole self to another if we do not first have a whole self to give. When we talk about the subtle signal, we're not just talking about a fleeting impression. We're talking about a multi-layered communication that speaks to a person's entire relational history. This is where the wisdom of modern relationship experts becomes so valuable. The subtle signal is deeply intertwined with our capacity for vulnerability, our understanding of what a healthy partnership looks like, and our ability to navigate the complex dance of intimacy. One powerful insight comes from a perspective that suggests we are all just a collection of our past selves. The way we present ourselves, the energy we give off, is a direct result of how we learn to cope. A person's level of confidence is the ultimate attractor. This isn't just about a strong posture or a loud voice. It's a quiet confidence that says, I'm okay whether you choose me or not. It's the kind of confidence that can only come from a place of genuine self-possession. It's the difference between trying to win someone over and simply inviting them to get to know you. The subtle signal of a confident person is an invitation, not a plea. It's a quiet power that says, I'm not waiting for you to complete me. I am waiting for you to join me. Another perspective emphasizes the importance of understanding the dance of intimacy. Healthy relationships require both connection and space. The subtle signal of a person who is truly whole is not one of neediness, but of a secure emotional base. They are comfortable being alone and are not afraid of a partner's need for independence. This allows for a kind of playfulness and desire to flourish, something that can't happen in a relationship based on constant reassurance. The subtle signal here is a subtle sense of safety and trust, an unspoken understanding that both partners have a strong sense of self and are not at risk of disappearing into the other. This sense of self-differentiation is what allows for true desire to thrive. As a well-known comedian turned spiritual guide so often puts it, the signal you send out is your vibration. When you are a secure, whole person, your vibration is steady and calm, attracting a partner who is also in a state of peace, rather than a state of chaos. The signal is also deeply tied to our willingness to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not weakness, but a courageous act of love. When a person is willing to show up as their authentic self, flaws and all, they are sending a signal of genuine courage. They are saying, this is who I am, and I am not afraid to be seen. The curator in our story is broadcasting a signal of look but don't touch. But when she learns to be vulnerable, her signal changes to I see you and I am willing to be seen by you. This is the kind of signal that builds real trust, which is the foundation of any lasting connection. The subtle signal is a reflection of how brave you are willing to be with yourself. Our self-worth is not something we earn from others, but something we cultivate within. The subtle signal of a person with high self-worth is one of dignified kindness. They are kind not because they are trying to win someone's affection, but because it is their natural state of being. They are not afraid to be their authentic self because their worth is not up for negotiation. A person with high self-worth won't tolerate being treated poorly, and that boundary is a subtle but powerful signal that says, I deserve respect. The subtle signal is also about the emotional dance of the relationship itself. The 4 horsemen of relationship failure: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. A person who is broadcasting a subtle signal of self-possession is also broadcasting a signal that they do not engage in these behaviors. They are not prone to being overly critical, they are not contemptuous, they are not defensive, and they are not emotionally shutting down. Instead, they are broadcasting a signal of curiosity, empathy, and a willingness to engage in healthy conflict. This is a subtle but powerful signal that says, I am a safe and reliable partner. This is the kind of signal that attracts a partner who is also capable of healthy, mature love. This deep dive into the psychology of the subtle signal shows us that it's not just about a feeling, it's about a complex interplay of our attachment history, our family system, our neurobiology, and our willingness to be vulnerable. It's a profound, unconscious message that says, this is the kind of love I believe I deserve, and this is the kind of love I am capable of giving. The journey is about changing that message not for a potential partner, but for yourself. Rewriting the narrative. The good news is that these subtle signals are not a life sentence. They are a signpost pointing you toward the work that needs to be done. You can absolutely change the signal you're broadcasting, and in doing so, you will change the partners you attract. Phase 1, the pause of self-awareness. The first step is simply to pause. The next time you feel that pull of attraction, that familiar, intoxicating feeling, don't rush into it. Don't immediately start planning the future or fantasizing about what could be. Instead, take a moment to ask yourself, what is this feeling? Is it the feeling of a healthy connection, or is it the familiar feeling of an old pattern being replayed? This is where you begin to deconstruct your own emotional algorithm. The echo can ask, am I changing who I am to be with this person? The curator can ask, am I putting on a show to impress this person, or am I being my authentic self? The bridge builder can ask, am I trying to solve their problems, or am I simply enjoying their company? The pause is not about judgment. It's about a gentle curiosity that creates a small but crucial space between your past patterns and your future choices. Phase 2, the practice of self-possession. This is where you become the source of your own happiness, the architect of your own inner home. This is where you stop outsourcing your worth and start cultivating it from within. For the echo, this might look like redirecting the energy you used to put into seeking approval and putting it into a new hobby, a creative project, or a friendship. It's about finding joy and fulfillment from a source that is not dependent on another person's validation. For the curator, this means practicing small acts of vulnerability in safe spaces, with a trusted friend or in a journal. It's about seeing that authenticity is not a weakness, but a superpower. For the bridge builder, this means setting clear and loving boundaries. It's about practicing saying no to things that drain you and yes to things that fill you up. This phase is about becoming so deeply anchored in yourself that the subtle signal you emit is one of unshakable self-worth. It is the signal of a person who is not looking for a partner to complete them, but a partner to complement them. Phase 3, the conscious invitation. Once you've done the work of self-awareness and self-possession, you can begin to make conscious, intentional choices about who you let into your life. This is where you stop trying to fix people and start choosing partners who are already whole. You will begin to notice that the people you are now attracting have a different kind of energy. They are not drawn to your people-pleasing or your guardedness. They are drawn to your authentic joy, your quiet confidence, and your self-respect. When you meet these people, the subtle signal you both emit is one of peaceful reciprocity. It is a signal of two whole people coming together to create something even more beautiful than they could alone. This is where you learn that love isn't about two halves making a whole, but two wholes choosing to share a journey. The narrative you are now writing is not one of a hero saving a victim or a rebel fighting a battle. It is a story of two equal partners walking side by side, hand in hand. The turning point isn't a single dramatic moment. It's a quiet shift, a gentle awakening. It's the day you realize you no longer have the urge to change yourself to please someone else. It's the evening you find yourself sitting alone, not feeling lonely, but deeply content. And you realize that the home you've been searching for was within you all along. It's the moment you say no to a person who is all red flags, and instead of feeling a pang of loss, you feel a deep, empowering sense of self-respect. It's the moment when a man approaches you not because he senses your need, but because he feels the warmth of your light, and he wants to stand in it. He is not drawn to the void you once tried to fill, but to the wholeness you've cultivated. The turning point is when you stop looking for a partner to love you into existence and start loving yourself into wholeness. So ask yourself, what is the subtle signal you are currently broadcasting? Is it one of anxious longing, of wounded giving, or of guardedness? And what would it feel like to broadcast a signal of quiet confidence, of peaceful self-possession, of a heart that is not in desperate search, but is simply open? Maybe the most radical thing you can do is to let go of the script and allow a new, beautiful story to finally begin. Have you recognized yourself or a pattern you've experienced in the archetypes we've explored? What steps are you taking, or what insights have you gained on your journey to cultivate self-possession and set healthier boundaries? Share your experiences and reflections in the comments below, and let's continue to unravel the heart of modern connection, one insightful thread at a time. If this stirred something in you, subscribe to Love Threads for more wisdom on navigating the beautiful, complex landscape of love.